Hello everybody and welcome to part 1 of What If Midori Had the Booster Gear. I have to say before anything, huge thanks to Micah Williams for writing the script. All credit goes to him since I haven't seen the series yet. I am in the process of watching it but I haven't gotten through it yet. And thanks for him for writing it. I edited the script a bit and made the video, but otherwise all credit goes to him. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and check out some of my other content that I've made myself. Oh, and leave a like if you want more of this series from Micah. The story begins 10 years before our normal timeline. Midori is trying to stop Bakugo from hurting one of his classmates. Midoriya says, "Why are you being so mean? You're making him cry, Kachan. If you keep on hurting him, I'll stop you myself." Bakugo says, "You want to pretend to be a hero? You don't stand a chance without a quirk, Deku." Frozen in fear, Izuku clenches his fist. Then a gauntlet forms around his arm. It has 2 spikes toward the front, a small orange gem on the back, and a big green gem on the front. Boost! Midori feels a surge of power when Bakugo charges at him. Midori dodges the punch, then retaliates by punching him square in the face. The lip of the gauntlet hits Bakugo in the ridge of the nose, doing just a little bit more damage. Tsubasa, the boy with the wings, grabs Izuku and flies straight up in the air. Boost! With a second surge of power, Midoriya spins, slamming his elbow into Tsubasa's cheek, making Tsubasa drop Midoriya. Boost! Midoriya's durability has now been boosted 3 times, so when he hits the ground, he doesn't take any damage. Bakugo says, "What the heck? You have a quirk?" Midoriya, with a smile on his face, stands up, then starts feeling weak. Burst! Midoriya then falls over to the ground. If you're wondering why Midoriya faints so easily, it's because in high school, Issei is a devil, so his body is stronger than a normal human. And he's also a teenager. Midoriya is just a 4-year-old human. His body isn't strong enough to handle the boosts yet. Bakugo, Tsubasa, and the boy who could stretch his fingers gather around Midoriya and begin to beat the crap out of him. Later, Midoriya gets home. He yells weakly, Mom, my quirk, I got one." Inko says, "Are you sure, honey?" She then notices the gauntlet on his left arm and the bruises on the rest of his body. Concerned, Inko says, "Honey, are you okay? We need to get you to the hospital." Later, after the doctor patches him up, the doctor does some tests on Midoriya's new quirk. And after the results come in, the doctor explains, "I see your quirk's name will be Booster Gear. According to my research, every 10 seconds your body's power is doubled, but because of how weak your body currently is, you can only boost about 3 times before your body hits its limit, and your gauntlet calls out burst, and you lose all of your energy." Midoriya gets an idea and says, "If my body's weak, then I'll just have to get stronger, like All Might." After those events, Midoriya starts working on the strength of his body so that he can boost more. About 6 years after these events, during summer vacation, Midoriya goes through a normal day of training. However, when he goes to sleep, then he hears a familiar voice. The voice says, "Hello, child." Midoriya, was it? Midoriya says, "Your voice sounds so familiar." The voice says, "Well, it should tell me if this jogs your memory." Boost! Midoriya says, "You're the guy in the gauntlet." The voice says, "Guy, huh?" The voice reveals himself to be a dragon, hundreds of stories tall with menacing green eyes, with scales red as blood. Midori says, "You're a dragon?" The voice says, "Yes, I'm the Red Dragon Emperor, but because we're going to become comrades for a while, you can call me Dreg." Midoriya asks, "What do you want from me, comrade?" Dreg answers, "Well, I live in your booster gear." Midoriya asks, "What do you mean you live in my boosted gear, and why did you wait so long to tell me?" Dreg answers, I needed to know if you were worthy of my full power. Midoriya asks, does that mean that I'm worthy? Dreg answers, I think you are. Without me even telling you, you knew to work on your body's strength. Midoriya nervously says, well, it's not like it was that difficult to figure out. Dreg says, kid, just take the compliment. Midoriya nervously says, okay? Dreg says, kid, looks like your mom's waking you up. Midoriya asks, wait, will we ever talk again? Dreg answers, sooner than you might think. Midoriya wakes up with his mom standing over him. Inko gently says, honey, breakfast is ready. Izuku responds in a really sleepy tone, yeah, I'm coming, mom. When Midoriya fully wakes up, he stares at his arm, then activates his gauntlet, but it looks different. Instead of covering just the top of his hand, it covers his whole hand, reaching up to his elbow. The orange gem is completely gone, and the 2 gold spikes have been pushed towards the back, with 3 red spikes leading up to them. Midoriya stares at it with a very shocked look. Dreg says, are you going to say anything or just going to stare? Midoriya surprised says, what the hell, you can talk to me now? And why is my gauntlet different? Dreg says, your questions will be answered in time, young Midoriya. For now, go to your kitchen and eat some breakfast with your mother. Midoriya's stomach rumbles. Midoriya says, that's a great idea, actually. With a smile on his face, Midoriya runs towards the hall. He says, this is going to be great. 4 years later, we reach the point where the story originally begins, in Alderia Junior High. The teacher says, I could pass out some career aptitude tests, but why bother? I know y'all want to go to the hero track. And then the class starts cheering while using their different quirks. The teacher continues, yes, you have some very impressive quirks, but no power usage allowed in school. Get a hold of yourselves. Bakugo chimes in, hey teach, don't lump me in with this bunch of losers. I'm the real deal, but these guys will be lucky if they end up as sidekicks to some busted D-lister. Small note, in this version of events, Midoriya is more confident because he has his quirk and because he has Drake to talk to. For those reasons, Bakugo and Midoriya become frenemies of sorts. They do make fun of each other, but also are firm and cool with one another. Before the class erupts in rage, Midoriya chimes in, hey, Butterfingers, I think you forgot someone else in the class. Everyone in the class starts laughing after Midoriya's comment, and Bakugo starts yelling, who the hell are you calling Butterfingers? Say it again to my face. The teacher is about to get involved when Dreg says something. Aren't you boys friends? Quit arguing, you're giving me a headache. I already have to sit for 6 hours and listen to different people with ridiculous haircuts speak. Now quiet down and let the man speak. The class gets kind of quiet because they're kind of scared of that supposed dragon in Midoriya's left arm. The teacher begins to talk again, thinking of his hair really looks that bad. The teacher says, thank you, Dreg. Well, back to what I was saying, Bakugo, you have impressive test results. Maybe you will get into UA. The class says he is going to try for the national school? They only have a 0.2 acceptance rate. It's impossible to get into. Bakugo scoffs and says, that's exactly why it's the only place worthy of me. I ace all the mock tests. I'm the only one at this school who stands a chance of getting in. I'll end up more popular than All Might himself and be the richest hero of all time. People across the world will know who I am, and it all starts with UA High. The teacher says, oh yeah, Midori, don't you want to go to UA too? The class looks to the back of the room to see Midoriya with his feet on the desk. He says, yeah, I would love to go to UA. Someone needs to be there to keep the hot head over here in check. Bakugo turns to Midoriya and screams, no one needs to keep me in check. Shut up, Deku. After that incident, the teacher gets back to class, and we see a villain who is on the run, and we see the silhouette of a #1 hero. After class, Bakugo and Midoriya start talking. Bakugo says, so UA, huh? Midoriya says, yep, man, if I'm gonna be the #1 hero, I need to go to the best school, right? Bakugo remarks, that's right, but I think you mean if I'm going to be the #1 hero. Midoriya says, yeah, whatever, man, but I'm head home. I need some training before I start studying. Bakugo says, it's always the same with you. Midoriya says, I know, but I'll catch up with you later. Bakugo says, cool. On his way home, Midoriya talks with Dreg when he hears a crash behind him. Dreg says, watch out, Midoriya. Izuku jumps out of the way and he says, booster gear, go! Boost! Midoriya runs at the villain and with his strength boosted, punches the villain with his left arm. His arm just goes through the villain though. Midoriya says, damn it! The Sludge villain says, that won't work, kid. Midoriya says, I noticed, ugly. Dreg yells, boost! But it's muffled by the sludge. Midoriya pulls his arm out of the sludge. As the monster is prepared to surround him, Midoriya hops back a couple times to get distance from the monster. Boost! Dreg says, look for a weak spot, Midoriya. Midoriya says, I know, Dreg. The sludge villain says, oh, your toy talks. At the same time, Midoriya and Dreg scream, who you're calling a toy? Midoriya charges at the sludge villain's eye. Once he notices the sludge villain is in pain, he knows where to aim. Boost! Midoriya runs at the monster. The villain shoots tendrils of goop at Midoriya, but Midoriya just dodges them and manages to get in front of the villain. He jumps straight into the air when his hands hit the top of the tunnel. He propels himself down and stomps on the monster's eye. Boost! The sludge villain screams, you brat! When Midoriya jumps off the monster, the sludge villain shoots his arm forward, grabbing Midoriya out of the air. Midoriya, concerned, says, crap! Then the sludge villain swings his arm into the wall, knocking Midoriya out. All Might jumps out of the sewer with a balled fist and yet he yells, Texas Smash! Deku wakes up with All Might standing over him. He asks, All Might? Midoriya jumps up really fast and takes a few steps back. He says, oh my god, it's actually you! Sort of reverting to his canon counterpart. Dreg says the kid is a big fan. He has posters of you all over his walls back at home. Midoriya says, shut up, Dreg. No, I don't. All Might says, huh, your arm talks. Well, sorry about that back there. I didn't mean to get you caught up in my justicing. Usually I pay more attention to keeping bystanders safe, but turns out city sewer system is pretty difficult to manage. Trying to sound cool, Midoriya says, okay. All Might says, you have a great quirk, young man. You were able to stand up against that villain till I arrived. You're going to be an amazing hero someday. Midoriya dusts himself off and says, thank you, All Might. All Might says, well, I'm off. Goodbye, young hero. Midoriya gets home and realizes that his move arsenal needs some work. He arrives home and looks up places where there aren't a lot of people, and he finds a beach where there's a lot of trash and things for himself to train. He thinks to himself, that might work. So he starts training for the UA entrance exam. During the next 10 months, Midoriya learns many different new skills. He spends time training with Bakugo on occasion, and there would have been some scenes where Dreg acts like a trainer, yelling at Midoriya and Bakugo to try harder. Eventually, the entrance exam arrives. Midoriya is walking onto the campus, hyping himself up, jumping up and down, jabbing the air. Bakugo says, chill out, you energetic bastard. Midoriya responds, look man, I'm pumped, we're about to get into UA. Bakugo laughs and says, confidence, I like it. Deku jumps up and down one more time before they enter the building. He takes one more deep breath and walks inside. Inside, President Mike does his speech, and because Midoriya is mumbling, Ida doesn't call him out. He just complains about how the practice papers aren't accurate. Midoriya thinks ahead for the exam already has Dreg start boosting even before the exam starts. President Mike comes out and says, "Go, go, go! There's no countdowns in real battle, so get to it!" The exam begins and Midori rushes in, punching a 3-point robot into a 1-point robot right off the bat. Midori then goes around punching, kicking, and slashing the robots, not having a real strategy. Midori says that should be about 33 points. That's not enough, and I'm almost at my limit. Drake, how many boosts are we at? As he says this, he rushes at another robot that is sneaking up on another student. Midori jumps into the air, delivering an axe kick, destroying the head of the 1-point robot, and then landing on the ground. Drake says, "We're at 66. You have only ever been able to go up to 70 boosts before your body gives out." Midori says, "Okay, we got this. Just need a little more points." President Mike says, 2 minutes left. Midori exclaims, "Damn it!" He then notices a giant robot walking by. He is about to run away when he hears a girl trapped under the rubble. Midori says, "Drake, now. Boost!" Midori yells again. "Boost!" Midori yells again. Drake says, "Midori, we're at 68. What are you planning?" Midori says, you know that move we were working on? I was planning on keeping it a secret, but it seems as a good time as any to pull it out." Drake says, "You really planning on using it? You only tested it 3 times and you passed out. You didn't even boost 10 times last time. Who knows how powerful it'll be now, or how much strain it'll put on your body." Midori says, "Well, that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make." "Boost!" Midori yells again. "Boost!" Midori yells now. In unison, Midori and Drake yell, "Explosion!" The small orb leaves Midoriya's boosted gear. He aims it at the 0-pointer's chest. Midori clenches his fist and punches the orb, sending a massive blast at the robot. The robot is knocked back a couple meters. A couple of moments, it and that part of the city turn into ash. All the other contestants could see was a big red light. Even the kids in the other training zones could see it. The only person who knew what it was Bakugo, who said, "That damn show-off." Burst! Midori's vision gets hazy before he completely blacks out. President Mike says, "And that's all, folks." Recovery Girl walks onto the testing site, congratulating everyone on the way. Ayami explains who she is. A kid says, "Are you going to heal him?" She says, "No need, sweetie. He's just tired. He used all of his energy on that last flashy attack." Midori sleeps for about 3 days straight. His body used too much energy. He probably shouldn't be alive, but I digress. When Midori wakes up, his mom takes him home. A couple of days later, he gets his letter from UA. Turns out that he got the most points. He had 34 villain points and 54 rescue points. 4 since he saved that one kid and 50 for saving Uraraka. He's not 60 like in canon because Uraraka could have been caught in the blast or could have died. Anyway, that's the end of part 1. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please like, share, or even subscribe if you aren't already. Again, I want to point out that I did not write this. What if? All credit goes to Micah Williams. And if you want more of this series, let us both know. Show your support by hitting that like button. Until next time, everyone. Bye!